All right, Kim Morata, back to England's match. England against Croatia, it ended 1-0. And you could see yesterday England did very well. You could see their attacking force really pushed in. But the game, you wouldn't say it ended in a shame. But I think the two teams did quite well. So you could see from the performance.
Yeah.
Can you take us through the overall performance?
Well, it was a home advantage for England playing at Wembley. It's always going to be, a home advantage. You could just hear what Luka Modric said after the game, that if we play in a tournament like this, we shouldn't play at the, home of our opponent. Otherwise, it's going to be like we're giving the game to them free. Of course, it's just a way of giving an excuse, and it's acceptable in football. But you could just tell possession stake, it's 52-48. It wasn't bad for the Croatians. The Croats really came to play football. Croats are very good. When it comes to the midfield, we've got our very own Mateo Kovacic and also Real Madrid's very own, Modric. Luka Modric. These two guys really they pull the strings. Perisic, Ivan Perisic, and Ante Rebic, of AC Milan as well. All these guys are there, and they were not. I was looking forward to seeing a player in Mandzukic, but then I don't know if he isn't, the preferred choice there. But the Croats have got a very dangerous team. In 2018, in Russia and MC, remember they beat England, and made it to the, final of the World Cup. So it should tell you that the Croats aren't a bad team. They're really a good team. Passes attempted, 457 for England, 453 for the Croats. And the completed passes, when you look at everything was close. It's just that they got, credit to Harry Kane, because Harry Kane did something that Timo Werner did against Manchester City in the Champions League final, where he took out, Ruben Dias. When he did that, John Stones was already going to attack Mason Mount, who got the ball, and then it was open for Kai Havertz to call for the ball. Mason gave him, and Zinchenko had nothing else to do than to watch on for Havertz to score. It was the same in this case when Calvin Phillips got the ball. Harry Kane was the top smasher, and Vida went to cover him and stop him from receiving the ball. I did not know when there was a space for Raheem Sterling to run in between. When he got there, Calvin Phillips, being a very talented player, very smart player, had to notch the ball with his left foot, passed it, and assisted the goal. And I thought Sterling took the ball so well. Otherwise, the goalkeeper would have saved the ball. And it was a midfield battle. And England won the battle all because of that young lad, Mason Mount. Credit to that young lad. He's been fantastic all year, and he proved it again, playing so well. But the man of the match, of course, went to Calvin Phillips, who got the assist. He was the engine in the midfield for England yesterday. I thought if there was no Calvin Phillips, it would have been a different story today. Because Declan Rice was able to move freely, Mason Mount was moving freely, and you saw the new kid, Phil Foden, who is wearing the hairstyle of Gaza. Paul Gascoigne. He's been inspired by Paul Gascoigne's Euros hairstyle, and I believe that he was also good, but not the kind of player we saw at Man City all season. But then, of course, the talent is there. Southgate has got the talent, all the talent in the world to, go all the way to win it. Having Rashford and the other players coming off the bench, Sancho, even Chilwell wasn't on the bench. A Champions League winning left back was not even on the bench. So it should tell you the talent in depth when it comes to the English team. I thought, football wasn't fair to the Croatians. The Croats really did well. They don't have strikers to punish the English team. Tyrone Mings and then John Stones are not the best of them, centre back pairings. If you go very potent, very lethal strikers, you hurt England on any day. And from yesterday's performance, of course, even though we are giving them credit, if it had been a Belgium, a France, even a Germany playing against them, they wouldn't win this game. It was a game that any top team would beat them. And they got the maximum win points. It's their first time winning a Euro opener like this. They've never won the first game at the Euros before. So credit to them. Raheem Sterling overall giving them that victory. So I thought they got a
I was going to come to Raheem Sterling's goal. It was fantastic. And he did well with his finishing. He got it right. Now let's look at these two pairings, like Mason Mount and Foden. You see, these two during the Champions League and the EPL, there was this controversies going on, this kind of analysis going on that Mount is better than Foden is better. And now we have these two young talents in the same match yesterday. What was their contributing factors?
Yeah, both of them did what was expected of them by Gareth Southgate, their coach. I believe the gaffer told them what to do on the field of play. And with Mason Mount, it's continuous pressing. It's dangerous to play against players like this. And you saw Mateo Kovacic. Again, Mateo Kovacic is really a good player. I'm saying that the Croats have no better striker. When you look at 1998, they had a striker who was their captain in Davoshuka. Davoshuka was my favorite player. He was my favorite player, and because he played for a country that had no name in terms of soccer. But look at what they did at France 98. So you should just say that after Davoshuka, it came down to someone that came close to be Mandzukic. And since then, Rebic tried, Kramaric and all of them, they've tried, but they've not been really potent like Davoshuka was for the Croats. And it really was painful watching them go down like that, even though they played so well, looking at the stats. But Phil Foden, I just didn't feel his, it's kind of like vibe. The vibe he brings on the football pitch all the time. The vibe wasn't there. I'm thinking that it's because he's now playing with different people and not for his club side. So it would take some time. They're now warming themselves up into the competition. But don't take anything away from the Croats. They still have a chance. They stand a chance of qualifying to the next round. And if they're able to move on to the next round, that is where you understand why Croatia is always good when it comes to competitions like the Euros, where it's the knockout kind of like system. They're able to cause upsets all the time. So let's just hope and see something good and better from the Croats going forward, and of course from England as well.
All right. Let's go back to Harry Kane's performance. You did mention of his impact he made in that game, but looking at something like, aside what he did, putting the focus off from the Croatians, don't you think yesterday Harry Kane didn't perform that well? Harry Kane, of all that we know, he's a top man striker, someone who is phenomenal when it comes to the striking role. He's someone that we know at any point in time, Harry Kane can produce something for you. But yesterday, you could see as if he just relaxed for the young lads to do all the job.
Yeah, when it comes to Harry Kane, you could just tell from his body chemistry, he's really had this kind of vibe going. It's not really a positive one. At the end of the season, getting to the end of the season, you could just realize what was happening. You could tell that a lot of things weren't right at Tottenham Hotspur. he got unhappy, uninterested in playing again. After Mourinho had left, we heard a lot of stories coming out from the Tottenham camp where we heard he wants to leave, and finally he's really come out to say publicly that yes, I want to leave the club. I want to chase the trophy of success and are able to win trophies. And Harry Kane is the striker who scored a lot of goals, loads of goals, and he's got no trophy to show for it. If I was a Harry Kane, I'll be also fighting for the same thing. Harry Kane wasn't bad yesterday. I've always talked about this. Harry Kane has become a complete striker, a complete player. He just doesn't score goals nowadays. He can go and then defend and come back. Yesterday, he contributed to the build-up to that goal. He just took out the defender and it created space for Raheem Sterling. It's a kind of like an in-game tactic that managers are using today. They know that the strikers who are the top players or with the top names will be targeted. So just use players around them as trump cards to just get your goals. That is it. When you look at Liverpool, Roberto Firmino is used as a false nine. As a defender, you go tackling or going to stop Roberto Firmino. You'll be there and then Sadio Mane will cut in, Mohamed Salah will cut in and score. Diogo Jota cuts in, scores. And it wouldn't be Roberto Firmino. So that's how it is. At Chelsea has that in Timo Werner. And when you think you're going to mark out Timo Werner, other players will come and hurt you. And that was what happened yesterday. So I wouldn't just say Harry Kane was bad overall. Yesterday, it was a performance that I'm going to score over 10. I'll just give him a 6 over 10. It was good. He did not end the game. Of course, his work as a captain. He tried his best as a striker, and it's the first game of the competition. So let's not take anything away from Harry Kane. He did his best. Looking forward to something huge in